I know this isn't funny, but it kind of is funny. Bruh, so NaLyssa Smith, we know she was a former Indiana Fever basketball player about a year ago, bruh.
How does a star player get traded twice in less than a year? For NaLyssa Smith, the nightmare became a reality, leaving her sick to her stomach, wondering what went wrong. But this was no accident. This was a self-inflicted disaster born from jealousy, bad decisions, and turning her back on a golden opportunity with Caitlin Clark. She thought she was escaping to greener pastures, but she was really just a pawn in someone else's game. This is the shocking story of how a promising career imploded, proving that karma always keeps receipts. The whispers of disaster began in Indiana, right as the entire world turned its eyes to the Fever. The arrival of Caitlin Clark wasn't just a draft pick, it was a cultural phenomenon, an injection of pure energy that promised to lift the entire franchise. For a player like NaLyssa Smith, a former #2 overall pick herself, this should have been a golden ticket. Playing alongside a generational talent meant more eyes, more opportunities, and a chance to compete on the biggest stage. But instead of rising to the occasion, a shadow of resentment began to form. The dynamic on the court felt icy, and Smith's focus seemed to drift away from her own team and toward the opponent's bench. That's because her girlfriend, DiJonai Carrington, played for a rival team. While Clark was taking hard fouls and getting physically battered, Smith often appeared passive, failing to defend her rookie teammate. The optics were terrible. In one infamous moment during the playoffs, Carrington jabbed Clark in the eye and was later seen laughing about it on the bench with Smith. It was a visual that screamed divided loyalties. Her actions off the court were even louder. She scrubbed any mention of the Indiana Fever from her social media bio, a modern-day signal for demanding a trade. She wanted out, and she was about to get her wish, but what she would find on the other side was far from the paradise she imagined. The trade to the Dallas Wings was painted as a storybook move. Smith was finally united with Carrington, creating what they likely hoped would be the WNBA's next power couple. She had escaped Clark's shadow and landed in a situation seemingly built for her. However, the dream was a facade. The crushing truth was revealed by the Wings' own coach, Curt Miller, who admitted that acquiring Smith was primarily a strategic move to make it easier to sign their real target and free agency, DiJonai Carrington. Smith wasn't the prize. She was the bait. It was a pawn in a larger game, and she didn't even know it. Her big move wasn't a testament to her value. It was a calculated maneuver where she was simply a stepping stone to someone else. And this stunning revelation was only the beginning of her troubles. The dream of a WNBA power couple quickly dissolved into a statistical nightmare. In Dallas, Smith's performance didn't just dip, it plummeted into a career-altering nosedive. The numbers tell a brutal story. In Indiana, alongside Clark, she was a solid contributor, putting up respect to multiple stats. But in Dallas, her production evaporated. Her scoring average was nearly cut in half, dropping to a dismal 6.7 points per game. Her rebounding, once a strength, shrank to under 5 boards a game. Her minutes were slashed, transforming her from a star starter to a high-priced bench warmer. The team itself was a disaster, stumbling out of the gate to a horrifying 1-11 record. The greener grass she had chased was dead on arrival. Just when it seemed things couldn't get any worse, her phone rang, and the news it carried would send her career into yet another devastating tailspin.